Hello my friends, how are you today? Welcome to another video here in the Finance Hydra channel. My name is Nathan, it is a pleasure to see you guys around here, and today in this video we are going to cover earnings. Many companies released their earnings this week and we are going to analyze all of them. But first, let's see how the S&P is doing. We see that the S&P, it did a record high this week, and in fact, it did a shooting star candlestick pattern, which was briefly triggered. But I told you guys on my TradingView analysis that, okay, there is a very high chance that this is a bear trap. All right, could potentially be a bear trap because it is just a pullback to the EMA area in the 1 hour chart. And that's exactly what the S&P did over here. And right now, today, we have a new record high this Friday. So congratulations to the US index over here because it is doing amazingly well. Do we see any pullback or reversal signs or anything here is telling us that it could potentially drop in the future? No, there is nothing telling us it could potentially drop in the future. However, I agree that if we lose again this black line at 45.67, I think this is going to be a true sign of weakness, and probably the index will do a sharper pullback, maybe to the EMA in the daily chart, to the 21 EMA. I use a 21 exponential moving average on my charts, and the Nasdaq index is doing amazingly well too. Just like the S&P, we broke the record high seen on September yesterday. I'm so sorry, on Tuesday we did a record high, briefly we did a record high, but we dropped it. We couldn't close above this price level. Yesterday we did close above it, but today we opened it at a gap, and right now we are doing officially another record high. The tech stocks are amazingly well. They are all doing amazingly well. They are very strong, and we see in the 1 hour chart a series of higher highs, higher lows. I have some lines over here. They're all previous interesting levels, but I don't think they are applicable anymore. But as long as we see higher highs, higher lows, the Nasdaq index is not going to correct. No matter how the bears complain, they're going to say that, oh, it must correct. Well, maybe, but it's not going to correct unless if we see a crystal clear reversal before. That's the first Dow theory tenet. Trends persist until a crystal clear reversal occurs. So very simple. Do we see clear reversal occurring? No, so the trend will persist. The Dow Jones Index, we have a similar scenario, but we are not doing a record high today. So if it's going to correct, potentially we're going to see a double top chart pattern in the 1 hour chart, triggering a sharper pullback or even a sideways correction in the daily chart. But again, this is just a theory. There is nothing confirming that this is going to happen. If we see a bearish sign on the indices, if we see, I don't know, maybe on Monday, on the Nasdaq index, we see a dark cloud cover candlestick pattern, for example. We see dark cloud cover candlestick pattern closing below this red line. Okay, this is a potential pullback sign, all right? This is telling me that we are losing strength and probably we're going to do a pullback. But again, I'm just talking about theories over here. Do not anticipate the market. Do not trade what you think it's going to happen. Wait for the market to do its movements before you react to it, okay? Because trading is reactive, it's not predictive. And if you are my subscriber, remember to click on the like button, okay? You know that I'm never going to disappoint you guys over here. And if you're not my subscriber yet, well, I invite you to join us, join our community, subscribe to this channel because our content is very good. We talk about technical analysis, behavioral finance, trading psychology, and many other stuff. So you are invited to join us. Now let's talk about what is really important in this video. If you liked this video so far, probably you're going to enjoy what I'm going to talk about next. Let's talk about earnings. Facebook reported earnings. It dropped as usual, okay? It was a good earnings. Despite of this, it was a good surprise, but it feels like it's not. This is a common mistake I see traders doing around. Oh, earnings are going to be probably good, so the stock will probably go up. Well, the earnings are not important. Believe me, earnings are not important. The important is how the market is going to react to the earnings. Maybe we see bad earnings, but if the market sees, okay, but we have a possibility of recovering over here in this point in this report, so probably the market will go up. Okay, I have seen this happening. I see the market dropping after good earnings. I see the market dropping after bad earnings, going up after bad earnings, and I don't know. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter how earnings are going to be. What only matters is how the market will react. And right now, if you ask me, Facebook faced some volatility this week. It dropped sharply, but right now it's already recovering. And what's even more interesting, look at the weekly chart. In the weekly chart, we have this Fibonacci's retracements. This week, Facebook lost the 50% retracement, but at any moment, it closed below the 50% retracement, and right now today, we are closing above it, doing what seems to be a spinning bottom candlestick pattern with high volume. In fact, the volume is pretty high. It's one of the highest ever seen this week since 2020. We don't see a volume that high in years. So I think this is a very good sign of reaction. If Facebook actually triggers this spinning bottom candlestick pattern, I think it's going to fly again. Apple reported earnings as well. Again, it dropped as usual. It was a good report, but it dropped. We dropped it to the EMA. Look how technical analysis is amazing. Isn't this incredible? We drop it to the EMA area, precisely to the EMA area. We reacted, and now we are closing above the EMA, above the previous support level at 147. We filled the gap over here, and it's just recovering nicely after it retested this support area. So if you ask me, well, I think Apple could be potentially a buy. I'm not saying I'm going to buy Apple right now. I think the moment to buy has passed. Okay, it was during this inverted head and shoulders over here, but right now it is looking good. Okay, I will be honest with you guys. I think Apple is looking good. The problem is the long shadow above the weekly candle, but still, it's still doing some very good signs of reaction. If we lose the EMA again, okay, Apple is going to probably correct. I don't know if it's going to be a price correction or a time correction, but probably it's going to correct. If you look at Amazon also dropped after earnings, but here earnings gave us a bad surprise. It was bad earnings, but it also dropped. So again, we never know how earnings are going, how the market will behave after earnings. But it's interesting because Amazon dropped it to this support area, which is this black line over here. See, it was a pivot point over here on October 7. It was a top level over here, which was triggered. Apple dropped it again to this black area precisely with astonishing precision, and then it kept going up. And until yesterday, the situation was phenomenal. The situation was amazing on Amazon. But then it reported earnings, it dropped it again to the black line area, and what we see here is a very good reaction. It is a bullish candlestick at least. I know we are dropping, but the candlestick is bullish. So this is a sign of a reaction. I think it is a good sign and potentially could be a buy opportunity for whoever wanna buy Amazon at a cheaper price level. If you look at Netflix, Netflix is a monster. All right, Netflix is simply crazy. Since it did this triple bottom chart pattern over here, it's going up, and every time it retests the EMA, it goes up again. Retests the EMA, goes up again. So this is a crystal clear bull trend, higher highs, higher lows. What do you do in a situation like this? You buy over here? Of course not. Here we are far from the EMA. Always buy near the EMA. Okay? When the stock is trending, wait for a pullback. If you buy right here, Okay, maybe the momentum is going to be very strong, maybe it's going to keep going up. However, if you see a pullback, you can't complain. Okay, if you see a pullback to the EMA, you can't say, oh, I told you so, all right? You can't say that I didn't say I told you so, all right? So yeah, the situation is quite amazing on Netflix, but it's not a buy right now at this moment. Google, it reported earnings this week as well, uh, and unlike Amazon or Apple, it was a good surprise. But unlike Amazon and Apple, which gave us a good surprise, I'm so sorry, Amazon didn't. Yes, Amazon was a bad surprise, right? But unlike Apple, which was also a good surprise, Google is going up this week. It's going up sharply. In fact, this kind of looks like an ignition bar. Yesterday we had a classic. This is classic, right? This happens almost every time. When we see an ignition bar, what we see next? A gift pattern. This bearish small candlestick is called gift pattern. What is a gift pattern, Nathan? It is a small correction in smaller time frames. This is the 1 hour chart. In the 1 hour chart, after the ignition bar, after earnings, it did a pullback to the EMA area, and right now we are reacting again. This is a classic gift because this gives you an opportunity to buy near the EMA at a better price level than, I don't know, the top area over here at this ignition bar. Okay, so this is a classic movement. I really like it. It's very technical. Now Google is supposed to keep going up. We'll see, right? We'll see. And Microsoft also reported earnings this week. Is flying very, very high. If you look in the weekly chart, it's amazing, right? It did a pullback to the EMA this month, and it did this, guys. This is why I always tell you guys, always buy near support levels. When a stock hit the EMA, and then it does two hammer candlestick patterns, one bearish, one bullish, and the second hammer is at the same time a piercing line candlestick pattern, leaving a huge shadow above the candlestick's body after a retest of the EMA. What does this mean? This is a crystal clear buy sign, right? A crystal clear buy sign. Right now, Microsoft is going up sharply, and there's nothing telling us it's going to drop again. Nothing. I agree with you. If it does a pullback to the EMA in the daily chart, it's going to be fantastic. But it's not giving us any bearish sign in the short term. As long as we see higher highs, higher lows in the 1 hour chart, the trend will persist. Tesla reported earnings over here. It broke the $900 resistance, which was the previous all-time high. I will be honest with you guys, I was not expecting that. I was not expecting it was going to break this resistance, but somehow it did break it. And do we see any sign of reversal or weakness or exhaustion? No, we don't see any exhaustion signs at all. Just like Microsoft, just like many other stocks, as long as we keep seeing higher highs, higher lows in the 1 hour chart, we don't see any, as long as we don't see any bearish structure in the 1 hour chart, it will keep in higher levels, all right? I think the $1,000, the previous support over here, is a very important key point, okay? I think if we lose this point, potentially Tesla will do a sharper pullback, but hey, it's nowhere near to trigger this potential bearish sign, this possible bearish sign, all right? So we are still quite good. In fact, Tesla reminds me of Nvidia. Look at Nvidia's chart. It's also incredibly strong. A good friend of mine this week told me, you can't stand in the way of a code. When we see a momentum that strong, when we see a trend so strong that the chart is clearly, it's almost in a 90 degrees angle, right? When we see this, never short, never go against it, never stand in the way of a code, because the odds are that you are going to get burned. All right, so I never advise to anyone to short a company like this, like Nvidia. Nvidia triggered a triangle pattern over here, a symmetrical triangle pattern. This is incredible. It's never going to drop unless if we see crystal clear bearish signal, and that we don't see any right now. Palantir is looking great. It's above the EMA. It's going up 1% today. This week is going up more than 6%. Wow, that's amazing. I have a personal target on Palantir at $29. I do believe it's going to hit there because we have an open gap over here and we have no other resistances other than the $29. So I have a personal target at $29. We'll see, right? Let's be patient over here. My friends, I really hope you guys liked this video. Remember to leave your like before you go. And now it's your last chance to give your like button because this video is over. Thank you very much for your support, my friends. Stay safe. See you guys on Monday. Farewell.